Hi, it's Miss Lisa from Pinellas Park, Florida, USA. We're going to take it easy today because everybody's worried I'm going to end up putting myself back in the hospital. So I have to take it slow. Part of it's not standing a lot. My lessons here at home don't stand a lot. I can sit and watch everybody and occasionally stand up. So we're going to cover a few things. First, hey, I'm wearing my dress. I made it. And look, it fits. It's not that huge thing I've been wearing. And a preview for those of you following me with my pattern making. This is the fabric I'm using for my first dress. Very pretty. Nice different colors. And as you can see, another reason we're not working on our patterns today, a certain cat we know, Xavier, feels he is the main show. I don't want to disappoint him, but I am. So, I'll let him lay on the fabric and my pattern and my ruler, but the most I get to do is my son's going to be asking questions. Oh, by the way, when I made the dress, you girls, we all know that thing about the bra. Look it, look it. I got a little strap in there, holds the bra right in. No straps hanging out like I normally have. Getting wise here. I spent some of my downtime rereading my older books. They have a wealth of knowledge, so if you ever get a chance to look at them old sewing books, I mean pre-70s, 60s, way before, if you can, or Library of Congress, you can go online and see them. A lot of good stuff on there. But they reminded me about those cute little straps they used to put in clothes. They don't do it anymore. You know, everything's supposed to be hanging out, but not for me. So, the dress came out nice. I was really happy. I got it done, trust me, in an hour and a half. That's the sewing, not the cutting. Cutting took me maybe about 40 minutes. You'll all get as good as that. Don't worry. This is a quick dress. And it's pretty much like the one we're going to be working on, so you'll be happy with your first dress. Alright, now my son wants to ask me some questions to kind of bring you guys up to speed on what life's been like around here. So,
Okay, so first question that I want to ask is what was the hardest part of making your dress?
the hardest part was I went from a pattern that was a size 12 to me, which is an 18-20, but I'm a size 10 through here. Go figure that one. Was a little bit tricky. I'm not too shabby at this stuff. I mean, look at this. The neckline is right where it's supposed to be. And look at this cute boy. Isn't he adorable? He is really showing off for you guys. But I finally got a dress that actually fits me. Because this is the first dress, really, that I made since I lost all the weight. The last dress I made, I was still pretty chubby. So this is good. Okay.
So, now, next question. What was actually the hardest thing you've ever made when it came to sewing?
Oh God. Two different dresses. One was my second wedding dress. And I had bed rest, there again, for the whole month before the wedding. So the dress was made from very slippery, beautiful silk by hand. And it was a beautiful basic dress with the gathered skirt. Well, the gathered skirt took forever, and the hemming seemed to take forever too. Quite a bit of fabric in it. Plus, I'm doing it while laying on my back the whole month. A lot of fun, up in the air, working working on it, then resting your arms, then working on it. Talk about a very long month that was. But I got it done in time. Looked gorgeous. Peacock blue. Ooh, pretty dress. The other dress I did for a friend. I should have taken more time on it. It looked nice, looked okay. Would like to have spent more time on it. And it was difficult on so many levels. Levels I hope you never have to deal with, because if you learn from me now and you can take your time on the more important projects, you won't run into any problems. So that's important.
Alright, so what's your whole take on doing cosplay? And what do you think would be a good idea for people to do that want to get started themselves but have no experience sewing?
Well, cosplay, which is also known as LARPA to other people, that's what I've been told. First of all, if you can just learn how to do basic straight stitch on a sewing machine, because most of your costume work is just straight stitch. You can finish your seams if you want to, but mostly LARPA play, you don't. I don't know why, but for most parts, people don't. I'm a bit of a stickler. I tell everybody they have to. When you want to start with cosplay, you have to pick a character that fits you. And that can take a little time. I mean, hey, I like Invader Zim, but I don't want to become him. So, you have to think about these things. And once you get that far, then you start looking at the, at the different pictures of your favorite person, and try to decide what from their wardrobe you want to make. Then you try to find somebody like me who's going to teach you how to make a pattern, and then they're going to make you go run through all kinds of hoops, because cosplay is way different than regular clothes. It sounds like it shouldn't be, but it is, because there's a lot to it. So hopefully you'll all find me, or you'll send messages to me and go, Miss Lisa, I have a costume I'm trying to make and I don't know what to do. And I'll talk you through it. I'm good at that. Okay.
So, okay, going on with the cosplay thing, are there certain things in cosplay that you would like to incorporate into your sewing, or that you have actually picked up from cosplay that you might actually use for sewing?
Don't know as I picked up anything, but doing cosplay, like I said, is very different in many respects from regular clothing making. I know that doesn't sound like it should be that way, but it is. And a lot of it is making sure that the garment fits the way it's supposed to. Plus, there's rules and regulations from different groups on exactly what you can or cannot do. You have to keep that all in mind. Currently, the one David and I are working on has a rule about the fabric, no buttons, no zippers showing, no Velcro showing, just about nothing showing, but the fabric. And that can be a little hard, if you don't feel comfortable yet sewing. You're going to go run through a whole lot of things, plus you're going to try out different things. We originally thought Velcro, then we said, nah, no. Yeah, we're up to zippers, and zippers have to be hidden, so we have to do a lapped zipper, which takes a little extra work. Not hard, but a little different. And we gotta make sure seam allowance and full body allowance. The old take the sit down measurements. Very important in cosplay, because you're going to wear it for a long time. And should you have a costume that's heavy, you're going to have a problem. I really want to thank everybody for their prayers and thoughts while I've been ill. Now, it has been a long month for Miss Lisa. I started out Easter Sunday, thought I was going to have a wonderful day, was in the hospital that afternoon, spent 4 days in the hospital, and the rest of the month, as you all know from some of the messages I put out, I was supposed to be resting. Well, I didn't rest as much as I should have, had a major setback, and now I'm feeling more human, and I don't have laryngitis, as you know, and that was really important. I have to take things a little slower for right now. That's why I'm not doing a full session on our sewing project, which I really, really wanted to do, but my son is like, no, 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 I won't do camera if you do that. So I have to sit in my chair, and believe me, I have never been able to show how to do this stuff sitting down. You either won't see it, or you'll get the back of my head and can't hear me. Doesn't work. And that's why we're not doing this. But it's a good time for me to also tell you about, you're really going to want to consider having someone help you with this. I'm hoping Annie will be here next week so I can have her help me with mine. And make sure you got a ton of pins and a pen, because we're going to mark on our pattern when we have to make changes. Pen's a good idea because you can really see what you're doing. Marker, yes, okay if you have a fine point. But those are things you want to consider.
Okay, so going on to what we just mentioned, what you just mentioned about your health. Let's go back to the beginning of the month. When you got to the hospital, what did the doctors tell you?
Originally, they said stroke. Of course, I was like, no, I don't think so. I've had a mini stroke before, and this was not like a stroke. Spent 4 days, had a CAT scan, had 4, what's that other
MRIs.
test? MRIs. Had blood workup done to the point I feel I should be much paler than I am. Let me see, I had an echocardiogram, and I also had a Doppler on the carotid artery. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a sonogram on your neck. And what? A complicated migraine, which my personal doctor said, I don't think so. She disagrees with them. She said, that's basically, they don't know. So I came home, still don't know why this happened. It could reoccur, which doesn't thrill me, but I'm going to behave myself and try to follow everybody's rules until I'm up an A1. My regular students, I will be seeing all of you. I won't be working as hard with you as I normally would, but I'm going to be here, and I expect to see you because I miss all of you. And I missed all of you people too. I mean, this is fun for me. I love teaching. And sewing? Yes. Sewing is wonderful. And I understand a lot of you want to learn sewing so you can make it a job. And I will give you some ideas. 1, don't undersell yourself. Start off with a higher price, and if people balk at it, then you say, well, how much do you think? Now, if it's a big chunk class, it's not worth your time. If you want to get into designing, look at what's up right now. And then take a look at fashions from different times. Right now, I have been looking at the 1800s, and there are a lot of interesting dress features that could be incorporated and make some really stellar designs. Think about it. If you have a design you'd like to show me, you can private message me on Messenger, or you can just send it through the comments and let everybody see your work. You know, it's nice to get a critique. Hey, not everybody's going to love everything you like, but that's the same thing in real life when you go to sell your product. But be confident. I will eventually be showing you guys what I have been doing. You might be interested. Now mine are a little more, they're not woo out there pictures, okay? I'm a little subtle. So there will be little things on mine that grab the attention. And a lot of mine is going to be a matter of picking the right fabric. So keep that in mind as a designer. If you're an up-and-coming designer, just be simple. Start simple and then add on. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. I look at a lot of stuff that's out there today and I'm not thrilled. And I've gone through the years. I started watching fashion when I was in my teens, so we're talking over 40 years. And I think fashion's kind of blah right now. And for those of you who design just for yourself, don't design just because the rest of the world is wearing this particular thing. Where I am right now, everything is so casual. Well, this dress isn't as casual as everybody else, and you know, and I am looking at fabrics and stuff that are me, and I want you to dress for yourself. Always think of it as I'm dressing for me if you're designing or whatever, because if you design for me and you like it, you'll sell it better. If you don't really like your design, you won't work as hard. It's truth. Okay, David.
So we'll keep going with the medical thing. So doctors told you when you came home, 2 weeks of nothing intense.
Right.
You managed to adhere to that mostly.
4 days. 4 days. At the end of 4 days.
5 days, folks. 5.
No, it was 4. It was 4. Wasn't watching the first day.
She did well.
But
by the
4th day, I was trying to get up and get this going so you could see me again and get our dresses made. And also, my sewing room looked like a tornado went through, a hurricane dropped, and hey, the cat looked like he had taken a few turns through here too. It was absolutely almost to the point that you could not move in here. If you sat in this chair, you could twist the chair around, and that was it.
Okay, so question now is after the 2 weeks where you weren't supposed to do anything, say anything with air quotes, you got sick again. What caused this time? What do you think caused it this time?
This was great. You know, every time you go to the hospital, they have to give you a gift. And for me, every time I go to the hospital, the gift is another illness. So I got a very nasty laryngitis cold. And this one really knocked me for a loop. I have not had a cold in the better part of 10 years. And the ones I had when I lived up north, where it's cold and everything, I never had one like this. Not one that made me so weak I could barely lift my arms. And just walking was a hassle. So, here it's telling you, I think our diseases out there are getting worse. Because I never got sick like this before. And I know I got it at the hospital because everybody was coughing in there and talking about the sore throats. So yeah, had to bring a gift home from the hospital. Not happy about that one. And that one really stopped me. So that's why we didn't get anything out last week. And I think the week before.
The week before, yes.
The week before.
You've been out of commission for 2 weeks physically because of doctor's orders. And then the last 2 weeks, you couldn't do nothing because you were actually sick with the laryngitis.
So I haven't been laid up like this for 32 years. That's a long time. And this was just not in my plans. This was a major setback for me. I had all these plans for this month. Now I got to do it the next month. So hopefully we'll finish out this month with nothing else. Oh, by the way, dropped a Singer 66 on my foot. That's cast iron, mind you. Didn't break a bone. Amazing. Look at that. That's where it was. Did that yesterday. Wouldn't you think I'd have broken a bone? I don't know. They tell me I have to look at the bones. But they must be made of steel. So, I'm happy. Just a bruise.
So, on that note, okay, so what are going to be your future plans? Let's start off with what your next project's going to be after the dress. After you show people how to make the dress. What's the next project?
After the dress, I wouldn't mind getting everybody's opinions. I'm thinking pants, not because I wear them, mind you, because I only can wear dresses because of a spine injury. But I want you to know how to make a pair of pants that actually fit. It will be such an amazement to you. You'll say, oh, why didn't I know this before? And they'll fit you better than store brands. And that's a scary thought. And you'll be able to do them for yourself. And they'll fit. I always think that's a wonderful thing when something fits.
So one of the things, sorry folks, one of the things I know we've been talking about, me and you, off camera, is we want to eventually show how to do some of my stuff on camera. When do you want to actually plan to do that so we can show off a little bit more of the creative side of Miss Lisa, the sewing lady?
I'm considering doing that between the dress and the next garment. And we will take a few weeks and we will be showing you how we create a costume. And so far, David's is fairly simple as far as sewing goes. The big stuff is when we have to get into the armor and putting all the other stuff on. And we have to make this thing called a kama. I believe I mentioned it before. It's kind of like a split skirt in the back and nothing in the front kind of cutout thing. And it's interesting. Had to create a pattern for it because, well, they don't make them around here. So, you might find it interesting. And it might even give you ideas for your designers, because there's some stuff in this that, hey, gotta think the future stuff. And this is future stuff.
Alright. So one of the things that I guess we should bring to everybody's attention is the cloth that we'll be using. Want to tell them about the actual material we're using?
Because of the limitations of the group David works with, it is cotton duck. And cotton duck is not a thin fabric, not a super heavy fabric, but I'll show you some. Now this was not washed, which we may regret later, but I don't think so. And this is like the stuff that you use on outdoor furniture. And we were lucky. Somebody gave us the leftover gold that they have, and then we bought some black. And we really like the colors we've picked. We also have some wine in there, but I don't know if we're using the wine anymore. I guess not. But as you can see, it's a stiff fabric. It holds away from the body. So you have to be very particular on how you cut it. It doesn't need a dart here and there. All kinds of little things. But it'll be interesting because after using this stuff to show you how to make the dress, which is nice and silky and thin, we're going to go to something really heavy. I'm also going to be working on, but not right away, a bunch of side videos, and I'll have my regular weekly, but I'll have little side videos, and they'll have interesting things in them. There'll be question and answers. I got a couple students that are really thrilled to do that. And there's other things that I do. You know, I embroider. And I've got a big quilt project I'm working on. My sister is collaborating with me because this month has given me brain mush. And I cannot think of what to do with it. It started out a 1930s quilt, which the velvet in it turned out to be 1910, 1920, and the back of it turned out to be good old polyester, which didn't come out until the 50s, so it can't be a 1930s, can it? So we're going to see what we can do with it, and we're recreating it as best as possible to make it as nice looking, and it's going to have embroidery on it, which I love to do. That's my projects for right now. I'm also considering doing a knitting one. I'm not teaching knitting. This is for those of you who already knit, but I might show you a little bit about making collars, because you know I have my one dress has my knitted collar on it. So we want to see what that does.
So aside from all the little side projects, do you plan to bring any students in for like some lessons, or even let them teach a couple lessons that they've learned from you?
I don't know if they're ready to teach a lesson, but I am going to be using students when it gets to sewing portions. I think David is going to have to be cameraman as well as sewing person. That should be fun for him. A lot of work, but he's going to show, especially when we get to the cosplay, because this is his stuff. I want him to do his own work. Yes, I'm very hard on my students. I don't do it for them. They have to do it themselves, but I show them what they have to do. And I talk to them to make sure they understand, just like I talk to you. And I hope if there's anything you don't understand that I've told you, please ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. I want to hear your questions. I also would dearly, dearly love everybody who is from a country outside of the U.S. If there is a specific fabric that you use, a design that's more common to your country than it is to mine, let me know, because I will address that as we're going along. It may mean making another dress pattern so we can accommodate the dress that you want. Fabric-wise, I understand there's some fabrics out there we don't have here. Talk to me about it. Let me know, because if it's something I can acquire in some way, I may, just so I can show off to everybody else what your country finds to be a great fabric. Sometimes I can get these, sometimes I can't, but we'll see. And sometimes your fabric is called something different than ours here. Yeah, I know. It's a problem, but we'll figure it out.
That's basically it for all the Q&A now. What other kind of stuff did you want to explain to your students and maybe other people that might be interested in eventually coming around and doing sewing?
Well, one thing I'd like to address is all the guys. I'm not getting any feedback. You guys, trust me, you think this dress pattern has nothing to do with you, but it does. Because basically, your shirt pattern starts out the same way the dress does. All those measurements count. For anyone who wants to start sewing, review what I've already put on, and again, ask questions. There is never a dumb question. There's only a person not asking a question and being left in the dark. I want everybody to learn sewing. You know, it's important. I think all these people that think it's old-fashioned and no longer doable are wrong. Very wrong. So that's today what we're doing. So we're about ready to end now. This Miss Lisa from Pinellas Park, Florida, USA. And just a reminder, you need to like, you need to hit the subscription button. Remember, it's free. And always hit the notification so you'll know when the next one's ready. And just remember that when I start putting in those little side ones, it'll pop up a little more often. So keep an eye out for me, and we'll see you next week.